So I've just seen the first 3 episodes of Suicide Squad Isekai, and I can confidently say it seems pretty fun. It's hard for me to say anything different from that because it feels like the baseline of the story is, let's have this bland basic Isekai world, and let's just throw a lot of DC characters within there. That seems fun. Everybody's freaking out, wow, these characters look very weird, and these characters are also gaining powers from being in the Isekai world. It just seems fun, and it doesn't help that it's also animated by Wit Studios. It just looks beautiful as well. I didn't really come in here with the plan of how I wanted to tackle this show. I do have some key points I want to say, I do have some comparisons I want to make, but most of this is just going to be me talking about the show, so if you don't want to hear that, go. Honestly speaking, throughout all the iterations of Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship that I've seen, this feels like one of the most stable I've seen their relationships. Granted, I've only seen them together for like 2 or 3 minutes, but that's the most stable I've seen their relationship. They're saying, I love you, they're saying, you're the best woman I've ever had. Harley Quinn's like, oh, I want to do everything for you, Puddin', please Puddin', let me do stuff for you. I don't know what that accent is, but bear with me. Harley Quinn's telling Joker her grandiose plan. Babe, I want to take you to a world, a brand new world where we no longer have to be here. And Joker's like, yeah, baby, this modern world's so ugly, I don't want to be here anymore. Let's just go out with a blaze of glory and do things our way in a new world. And they're having this conversation at the exact same time as Waller is doing that exact thing. She's forcing her people to make a portal to a new world so her people can go on there, gather resources, and take them back to Earth, because I guess Earth is running low on resources. That's true for real life as well, so I don't know why I said I guess. It makes sense why they're doing that. But to go on this unknown road, they need people to do so. So they send their people after some criminals, Harley Quinn and Joker included. Joker was able to escape, but they captured Harley Quinn. Specifically, Katana captured Harley Quinn in a pretty decent fight scene, I thought, in a fight scene that was choreographed in a way where I was like, yeah, I could see both of these characters working like this. This makes sense to me personally. And that's one thing I really admire about this series is the choreography, because not one fight scene is the same because everybody fights so differently. Deadshot doesn't fight like Harley Quinn, and they don't fight like Clayface, and they don't fight like King Shark. It's so interesting to me. Anyways, Harley Quinn gets captured and she gets put on the Suicide Squad. What did you expect? I named you some of the characters, but I'll rattle off the list if you will. Harley Quinn, Peacemaker, Deadshot, King Shark, and Clayface. Probably the most interesting group to put together if you ask me anyways. And when it comes to all these characters that aren't named Harley Quinn and Joker, it feels like they took the inspiration from these characters from all the different media that come beforehand, specifically from the Suicide Squad movies and the Peacemaker series and the Harley Quinn show. Deadshot feels specifically inspired from Will Smith's role when he was playing Deadshot in the Suicide Squad movie. I don't know, even me sitting here just watching the sub, from some of his mannerisms and from how the way he talks, some of the lines they have him say, it really kind of feels like it's inspired by Will Smith's Deadshot character. King Shark and Peacemaker look like they're from the Suicide Squad movie. Hell, Peacemaker just looks like John Cena, and he refuses to take his helmet off because it probably is just John Cena underneath there, I guess. And last but not least, Clayface. Clayface feels like the Clayface we've grown familiar with from the Harley Quinn show. Because in that show, he's also kind of like an acting snob, kind of like a bumbling buffoon. He's kind of seen as the comic relief in that show. I kind of see he's in a similar role in this show, where he is kind of the nerd, he is an actor also. He's never just the Clayface monster, he's always in his human form. And I will put this granted at the end, because honestly, they could just be inspired from the characters in the comics. And things don't really go well for Amanda and them though. They're briefing them on a mission and the helicopter just comes crashing down. Somebody took them out. I don't know who, but the helicopter did come crashing down. And now everybody who was in charge of them are dead. They're out on the loose, but they do know they have the bombs in them. And just over right next to where their helicopter crashed hit, they see a fight going on. A fight between knights and orcs. Humans and goblins. Isekai human characters, probably the good guys, big orc green bad guys. And they're standing pretty out of the way at first, but after the orcs do take out the knights, the orcs don't listen to them because they don't speak the same language and just start trying to fight them, and obviously they beat all of them up. King Shark eats like half of them at least. And they're expecting thanks from the knights, but the knights don't really thank them, they just lock them up. And when it comes to this isekai world, when it comes to these knights, these orcs, whatever other things that are in that world, I feel like they're so bland, honestly speaking. And like I said earlier, I do think that's done on purpose, but man, they're so bland. Anytime we're in that weird council where all the royal people are talking about their people, I'm like, dude, I do not care about this. Please stop talking about this. I do not care. But you know, their princess is going to be an important character because she's the one that feels sympathy for them. She's the one that's like, hey, I kind of want to talk to these guys. I don't want them to be locked up. Maybe they can help us out. So we're going to see a lot from her. Probably, maybe. And while they're locked up, they meet Red Flag. Clayface tells them, hey guys, I think this is kind of similar to Alice in Wonderland, or in other words, I think we're isekai'd. And I'm the protagonist in the situation, don't worry guys, I'm gonna save us. And Deadshot says this infamous line from the Suicide Squad movie. But they actually don't stay locked up for too long, they let themselves out, they kind of let all the other prisoners out, and they stage a coup on the whole like prison system that's right there, and they take it over. That's just theirs now. It's probably just going to be the orcs once they leave. And leave they do, because Cecil, the pink or purple stressed haired guy, comes to get them and take them back to the princess. And this is where they get to tell the princess and the queen their plans of trying to help them out, trying to get back to their world and all this other stuff like that. But they don't speak the same language still. How is that gonna happen? Don't worry, the queen has a spell just for this. Now everybody can speak the same language. Luckily for us, they decided that everybody got to speak Japanese. Red Flag and Peacemaker were able to come to some sort of a deal with the queen where they helped them take their land back from these conquering foreigners, these imperial forces, because these forces have been taken over by the previous squad of people that came over and just abandoned their post. They're running amok out here now, and actually they're working for some emperor who I wouldn't be surprised would just be a random demon lord, because this isekai world just feels that generic, that they just be working for a generic demon lord. And she agreed for them to do so, so now they'll help her out under one condition. They take Red Flag back hostage so they know they won't go anywhere. And luckily for them, now that actually means they can't go anywhere, because Red Flag is the only person that knows where the gate is. And the gate's important because Waller told them they only have 72 hours to be away from the extended radius of the gate before the bomb goes off. And luckily for them, Peacemaker has been counting track this entire time, and by the end of this episode they have like 30 hours left, so they really need to see the gate soon. The first fortress they go to is run by a group of wolves, a group of standing wolves. I don't want to say werewolves because they probably weren't people, but I can't think of another thing to call them, so I guess just werewolves. And the werewolves are all running in unison, they're not caring about any damage they take. It's clear that they're being brainwashed. But by who? It's Ratcatcher. It's Ratcatcher, who I guess is more inspired from the comics. I'm not actually sure. It's interesting how being in this world is making people's powers different. Ratcatcher can not only control rats now, but seemingly more beasts as well. He put all of these werewolf-like people under his control. Assumingly he could get more people under his control. We've seen later on in a cave towards the end that there was more beasts down there he had under his control. Clayface can not only control his body now, but can control other clay-like things around him, which is the only reason they were able to defeat all of these people in this situation, because they were able to cover this earthly structure with water so he could use it as some sort of a clay mold. But I'm curious how everybody else is going to get a little bit of an increase from being in this world. We saw a little bit from Harley Quinn that it just made her swings a bit stronger when she was using their wands in the prison, but I'm not really sure about like Deadshot and Peacemaker. Do their aim just get better? Do they just get better at combat? I'm really curious what will happen. Honestly, same for Harley Quinn. Will she just get better strength? Will she get some sort of a cool thing? I don't know, but I'm definitely curious to see. But that's basically it. What are your opinions on Suicide Squad Isekai so far? I can't believe that's the name of it and they couldn't think of anything better, but it gets the job done. It gets it straight to the point. What are you excited to happen later on? Are you excited to meet some other people? Are you surprised people like Ratcatcher and Katana are working for this supposedly demon lord that I'm assuming it is, but they're just calling the Emperor for now. How do you think these characters are presented so far? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you think they're more inspired from the comics or from like the other media that I mentioned before? I'd really like to know. Let's get a little bit of a discussion started down below. And I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Okay. Goodbye.